श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति. So yesterday we saw the other shlokas of the sadhanas. Okay, now we are seeing the final shloka kincha. Moreover, there is one more shloka, the fifth shloka. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam etat jnanamiti proktam ajnanam yat ato anyatha. Very important shloka. All these five are. We'll understand why. Again, adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnana artha darshanam एतद् ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यत् अतो अन्यथा. अध्यात्म ज्ञान नित्यत्वम्. अध्यात्म ज्ञान, the knowledge of the self, nityatvam. You should have to be established in that knowledge. In that knowledge means you have to be surrendered to that knowledge. Second is tattva jnanartha darshanam, and also have to have the knowledge. See, darshanam means normally immediate knowledge, sakshatkara. But here darshana means thinking. You have to always think about the artha, the use, the result of the tattva jnana, the final result of the tattva jnana. These are etat jnanamiti proktam. This is what is called as knowledge. Yet ato anyatha tad ajnanam. Whatever is other than this, that is what is called as ajnana, ignorance. Whatever other than this is what is called as ignorance. You have to understand this. We saw these 20 sadhanas. 7th shloka, 20 sadhanas. Count. Amanittam, adambittam, ahimsa, kshantir, arjavam, acharya upasanam, shaucham, stairyam, atma vinigraha. 9. Okay. Then indriyartheshu vairagyam, anahankara evacha. 11. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshan darshanam. 12. Then asaktihi anabhishwangaha. In what? Putradharadi grihadishu. Okay. Then nityam cha samachittatvam, equanimity. That is 15. Then mai cha ananya yogena bhaktihi, avyabhicharini bhaktihi. 16. Vivikta desha sevitvam, desiring to stay alone. And aratihi janasansati, not interested in living among people. People who are not into this or who are into this, whichever, doesn't really matter. First, if you are not able to do that, then stay at least with people who are into this. That is the idea. Okay, 18, that is adhyatma jnana nityatvam. 19. And tattva jnanartha darshan. 20. These are what are called as jnana. Jnana means end result. Why did he call the means also as jnana? You see a cloth, you see, oh, this is a very beautiful shirt. Oh, this is just a cloth. No, it will become a beautiful shirt. That's what I said. Okay, right. So in the cause, you superimpose the effect. Now, somebody is wearing a very beautiful shirt. Oh, this is a nice cloth. This is a shirt. The cloth is good. In the effect, you are seeing the cause. In the cause, sometimes you see the effect. In the effect, sometimes you see the cause. It is not a big deal. So here also, the effect is seen as cause because the cause leads to the effect. These 20 sadhanas are compulsory for you to gain the knowledge. Okay? Now, adhyatma jnana. What is adhyatma jnana? Atmanam adhikritya pravrittam. Atmanatma veka jnanam. The knowledge which is about the self, which is about the self, meaning the knowledge of self and non-self. Nitya, Anitya, Atma, Anatma, whatever you say, that is all words. Nitya, Anitya, Vekam, Atma, Anatma, Vekam, all these discrimination are nothing but a Drishya Vekam. Either you say Atma, Anatma, Vekam, or Nitya, Anitya, Vekam, or Drishya Vekam, they are all same. Tasmin Vekam, Veka Jnanam, Adhyatma Jnanam. That is what is called as Adhyatma Jnanam. Tasmin Nityatvam, Tatraiva Nishthavatvam. Meaning surrender to it. Meaning always immersed in it. Should not, never leave from the thoughts about the self. That is why Sanat Kumara and Sanat Sujatya very beautifully said that. Pramado vai mrityurutyavo chava. I tell you, remember this. Carelessness is death. That is what he said. Okay. Vekanishto hi vakyartha jnana samartha bhavati. Because only one who is always immersed in this viveka, in this discrimination, is capable of, samartha means samarthya, is capable of, eligible for knowledge. Jnanasya aham brahmasmi iti sakshatkarasya, the immediate knowledge of I am the self. Vedanta Vakya Karanakasya, and that can be gained only through the Vedantic statements. If you don't get it properly, there is no other choice for you. No one can give you the realization other than the Vedantic statements. No other possibility is there. Don't illusionize yourself thinking that there is other possibilities also. Never. Amanitvadi sarvasadhana paripaka falasyartha. Falasya, which is the result of this immediate knowledge, is the result of the fructification of all these sadhanas, sarva sadhana, all these sadhanas, like amanitva, etc., the 20 sadhanas. Artha means prayojanam, its use, its utility, its end result. Avidya karyatmaka nikhila dukkha nivritti rupa. What is the result of this knowledge? Tattva jnana. The result of the tattva jnana is to get rid of the cause along with the effect. The effect along with its cause. Avidya tat karya rupa. Avidya, the cause, along with its effect, which is a nikhila dukkha nivritti, which is all types of sorrows. Whatever types of sorrows are there in this world, everything gets negated, annihilated, along with its cause. This is not the only result of knowledge. Then what? Paramatmananda Vapti Rupascha, gaining the absolute bliss. Getting rid of all the sorrows and gaining the absolute bliss is the end result of realization. Moksha, tasya darshanam alochana. That is what is called as moksha, and tasya darshanam, its vision means thinking about it is what is, meditating about it is what is said here. Okay. Tattva jnana phala alochane hi tat sadhane pravritti syat. Only when you are interested, when you are involved in the meditation of the absolute truth, you will be interested in the practice to gain that. First, you need to know the end result. Only if you know the end result, only if you have the end result inside, you will be, oh, I have to gain that. Really, we are not. We have interest in everything else other than self-knowledge. Though we sometimes declare, not just say, declare, I understand very clearly there is nothing else other than this. Yes, but we don't follow it up. We don't follow through. So we have to understand only if you have these sadhanas, you will gain the knowledge, and only when you have the end result in sight, you will be interested in doing these sadhanas. Etad amanitvadi tattva-jnanartha darshanantam vimshati sankhyakyam jnanam iti proktam jnanarthatva. This from amanitva to the tattva-jnanartha darshanam, these 20 sadhanas are called as, these are means, but they are called as knowledge end, because they lead to knowledge, the end result. Atah अतो अन्यथा अस्माद् विपरीतं मानित्वादि यत्तद् अज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तं ज्ञानविरोधित्वा. So other than this, meaning the manitva etc., which is contradictory to these things. Amanitva means not having the identification, not having the ego etc. That the opposite to it is having ego, having a proclaiming one's greatness etc. All these kind of stupidities are ignorance. Jnana virodh, because it is contrary to knowledge. Tasmad ajnana parityagena jnanam eva upadeyam iti bhava. Therefore, by giving up the ignorance, you have to hold on to the knowledge. There are two things which Yoga Sutrakara says. Heyam upadeyam. Heyam dukkham anagatam. The sorrow which you have not yet experienced should be given up. So this is the samadhi is what you have to, samadhi and its means is what you have to upadeya to gain. Now here in this Vedanta he says you have to give up the ignorance and gain the knowledge and associate yourself only with the knowledge, the means for knowledge. एभिः साधनैः ज्ञानशब्दितैः किं ज्ञेयं किं ज्ञेयम् इति अपेक्षायाम्. So when you have a desire, interest, apeksha means desire, interest. When you have the interest, what will you gain through all these sadhanas? For that, iti apekshayam, what is that object which I will gain? What is the object of knowledge which I will gain through this knowledge? Jneyam, what should I know through this knowledge? Three practices. Iti apekshayam jneyam yattat iti shabbihi. In 6 slokas he is going to say. This jneyam yattat iti he said in the year in the beginning of this amanitva etc. Till jneyam yattat we are going to discuss the 20 sadhanas. Now he is going to that jneyam. Jneyam yattat pravakshyami yajñātvā amrtamashnute anādimatparam brahma na sattanna asatuchyate. Jneyam yattad pravakshyami yajñātvā amrtam ashnute anādimatparam brahma na sattanna asatuchyate. Beautiful. Jneyam yattat, jneyam, that which you need to know, yattat, whatever that is, tat pravakshyami, I am going to explain to you in detail, very clearly. Yad jnātvā, knowing which amrutam ashnute, you will gain immortality. Anādimat, that which does not have any cause. Param Brahma, that absolute self. Na sat tanna asaduchyate, is neither called as existence nor called as absence. Did I hear properly? Yes, you heard properly. That Param Brahma, absolute bliss, is what is absolute self, is neither called as self, existence, or nor called as absence. The self is neither existence nor absence. Uchyate. The definition sannapi asannapi ubhayattikano etc. or satasatbhyam anirvachaniyam, sat asatbhyam anirvachaniyam, as Bhagavan Bhashyakara puts it. It is can neither be qualified to be called as sat, existence, nor can be called as non-existence. Asat anirvachaniyam, it is inexplicable. That very definition is what is for the self also. Self also can never be called as existence. Self also cannot be qualified to be called as non-existence. Self also is inexplicable. When we say Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, there in Taittiriya Upanishad, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, for that Satyam, he made it very clear. The Satyam is Asatya Vyavrityartha, to negate the opposite. Satya does not establish the Brahman's existence. It is to negate the non-existence. Jnanam is not to establish self to be knowledge, but to negate the opponent, the ignorance. Self is not ignorance. That is what we want to say. So here it is neither Sat nor Asat. It cannot be called as Asat. If it is not Sat, then it is Asat. Don't come into this conclusion. Then what it is? It cannot be explained. You are saying Brahman for your convenience. You are using words to explain this. Then you should close this book. No. Whichever way we can convey this message, we try to convey this message. That's all. So words are one useful tool. We are using that useful tool to convey the message, to convey the teaching. Meaning, there are two types of understanding through the words. One is word meaning, the other is a implied meaning. We don't resort to the word meaning, but we resort to the implied meaning. Like I was saying, so pot. What do you mean by pot? When we say pot simply means vase or something. Okay, simple. Over. Vase. Instead of saying vase, I am saying pot. Okay. Now, in English, when you say pot, it does not just mean pot, the vase. Pot also refers to in another circumstance. It also refers to drug, marijuana, etc. Pot. So pot, the word meaning is a vase. Pot, the implied meaning is something else, right? In the world also we use that. So we are going to do that here also. That is how we are going to teach the Vedanta. Yad Gneyam Mokshana tad pravakshyami prakarshena spashtataya vakshyami. So whatever is that which needs to be known by the seeker of truth, that I am going to explain in detail. Pravakshyami means spashtataya, very clearly. Shrotuhu abhimukhikaranaaya falena stuvan aha. So, Pravakshyami Amrtattamashkute. He is also saying Amrtattamashkute Jnatva Amrta, knowing which you will gain immortality. Why is he saying? To attract the attention of the listener. Shrotuhu Abhimukhikaranaaya. Shrotuhu means listener. Abhimukhikaranaaya means to attract the attention. Normally, this is what we say. Listen to it carefully. I'm going to say something. So, he's going to say something, some secret here. So, we become attentive. So, he is making you attentive. How will you be attentive? There can be no other way, best way to make you attentive than to explain the great result which you will gain out of this. So, it says, Yad Vakshimanam Nyatva Amrtam Amrtattam Ashnute Samsarat Muchade. Knowing this, you will become liberated from the samsara, the ocean of birth and death. Kim Tatu? What is that? Anadimat. Adimat na bhavati iti anadimat. Anadimat. What does anadimat mean? That which does not have adi, beginning, which does not have a cause. That is anadimat. Adimat na bhavati. In this way, he is resorting to the karmadharya samasa, not bahuvrihi samasa. Why? In bahuvrihi samasa, if I am going to establish this, it will be like a adihi yasya na vidyate iti. Adihi yasya na vidyate iti. So he says, Param nirdishyam brahma sarvato anavacchinnam paramatma vastu. Param means nirdishyam, that which does not have any limits. Means that which is all pervading. Brahatva Brahman, Brahmanatvad Brahman. Brahman means that which is big, huge, and all pervading. Therefore, anavacchinnam, that it is not associated with anything or limiting. There is no limiting agent for this. That is what is the absolute self. Atra anadi iti etavata eva bahuvrihina arthalabhe api atishayane nityayoge va matupaha prayoga. See, anadi mat, he need not have said anadi mat. He said anadi mat. Mat is a suffix called matup. This matup is used in two meanings. Atishayane or Nitya Yoge. Atishayane means some speciality. Nitya Yoge, in eternal association. In these two meanings, matup is used. So here, instead of resorting to the bahuvri samasa, directly saying anadi, adi yasya na vidyate iti anadi, he is saying anadi mat. So that is the idea. Anadi iti cha mat param iti cha padam kechit ichanti. Some people desire to break this into two in a different way. See, we also broke into two. We said anadimat param brahma. But some people desire to break it as anadi mat param brahma. Understand? Anadi mat param brahma. That is why he had to say why we should not resort to this anadi bahuvrihi samasa. So what is the issue there? Is there an issue there? Accepting anadi mat param brahma? Yes. Why? Anadi, beginningless, costless, mat param brahma, mat param. My superior state is Brahman. My attributeless state is Brahman. So he says, Mad Saguna Brahmana, me, the attributed self, Vasudeva, Param Nirvishesha Rupam Brahmityata. My attributeless state is what is called as Brahman. In this way, the meaning will be Aham Bahu Vasudevaksha Parashakti Yasya iti tu Apavyakhyanam. Meaning, I am that Vasudeva. My power is what is seen in that form. In this way, if you are going to translate, interpret, break the words, then it is apavyakhyanam. It is wrong translation, wrong interpretation. Nirvisheshasya brahmanah pratipadyattvena tatra shaktimatvasya avaktavyatva. Because you are talking about attributeless self. When you are talking about attributeless self, then there at that point of time you should not discuss about the Shakti, the power. That is an attribute. Nirvisheshatvam eva, this attributeless state is what is explained. Na sat tanna saduchyate. How do you know that it is attributed itself he is talking about? It is said there. Na sat tanna saduchyate. Vidhimukhena pramanasya vishayah sat shabdena uchyate. Nishedhamukena pramanasya vishayah asat shabdena. What is sat? What is asat? Sat means existence. Asat means non-existence. He is giving an interpretation for what sat is and what asat is. Through the injunction, when you are going to establish something, that is sat. Through negation, whatever you are going to establish, that is asat. This is the meaning for sat and asat. Idam tu tat ubhayavilakshanam nirvisheshatvat. This is different from both existence and non-existence. Why? Nirvisheshatva. It is attributeless. Swaprakasha chaitanya rupatvacha, and it is also self-effulgent consciousness. How do you know this? Yato vacho nivartante apraapya manasa saha. Shruti very clearly says, from where the words turn back along with the mind without grasping it. So your words and mind cannot grasp it. Therefore, it is nirvishesha, attributeless. Ityadi shruti. Yasmad Brahma na sadbhavatva ashraya na asat abhavatva ashraya atha na uchyate kenapi shabdena mukhya vritya shabda pravritti hetunam tatra sambhavat. Since Brahman is not sat, means it is not the substratum for existence. It is not the it has no association with existence. It is neither, it is nor asat, non-existence. Why? It has no association with the non-existence. Therefore, it cannot be explained through any words. It cannot be established through any words. Meaning, the word meaning, Shabda Mukhya Pravartya means, Shabdena Mukhya Pravartya means the primary meaning of the word is word meaning. There are two meanings. One is word meaning, there is another implied meaning. The word meaning can never give you the right meaning in the case of Brahman. That is why we say pot, drug. So, iti shabda vritti hetunam tatra. Why it cannot give you the direct meaning? Because shabda pravritti hetunam tatra asambhava. Tatra bhava. The shabda pravritti hetu, the reason for any word to give you the meaning, there has to be 4 set of process, 4 or 5, whichever. First is you have to have jati, class. Second, guna, dravya or guna. Guna. Okay, guna means attributes. You have to have attributes. For a word to convey its meaning, you have to have either a class or an attribute, or there should be some relationship, or there should be some activity. So only with reference to this class, attribute, action, and relation, you can use words to convey a meaning. Without any of these relationships, it is impossible for the word to convey the meaning. Therefore, tadyatha. What does that mean? We'll explain. Gaur ashva iti jatitah. Gauhu ashvaha. When I say gauhu ashvaha, etc. Cow, horse, etc. What I mean is the cowness, the hoarseness, which is the class associated with them. Patati, pachati, patati iti kriyatah. Pachati, pacha, pake, to cook. And patati, patha vyaktaya machi, to understand clearly, to speak clearly, to understand clearly. So now pacha, patha, to cook and to read. In this, we say use kriya, action. Shukla, Krishna iti gunatah. Shukla, Krishna, white, black, etc. is through the attributes. Dhani, Goman iti sambandho artha pratyaya iti shabda. And Dhani, he is wealthy one. He is a wealthy person. Goman, he has a cows. Goman also is wealthy because in earlier days, cows used to be the mark of wealth. Goman. This is sambandha, this relationship. Artham pratyaya iti shabda. Through these, the words give the meaning of the, give the meaning. You understand the meaning of the words through these. Atra kriya guna sambandebhyo vilakshana sarvopi dharma jati rupa. Whatever is different from kriya, whatever is different from guna, what is different from sambandha is what is called as jati for us. Dharma jati rupa. Upadhi rupa va jati padena sangrihita. Or you can say Upadhi is what is referred to as jati. The embodiment is what is referred to as jati. Why? This is to establish something else. He is saying this. See. First of all, let us see this and we'll come to this. Yadricha shabdopi bitha dabithadi yaha kanchit dharmam swatmanam va nimitti pravartata iti sopi jati shabda. Dabitha, ditha, etc. These meaningless words sometimes are associated with something and they also are giving a meaning. They also, when they give the meaning, they are through the class. Okay, they are associated with the class. Evam akashabdopi dargikanam shabdashrayadi rupam yam kanchid dharmam puraskritya pravartate. Somatetu prithivyaadi vad आकाश व्यक्तीनां जन्यानाम अनेकत्वाद आकाशत्वमपि जातिरेव इति सोपि जाति शब्दः. I have to read this whole because there is a reason. First, let us understand what he says. What should be understood? See, the logicians accept jati, class. Vedantins don't accept. That is why he had to establish whatever is different from action, whatever is different from relationship, whatever is different from attribute is jati. He had to say that. Why? Because the logicians' definition for jati. What is jati? Nityam ekam anekanugatam. Jati is eternal, one, which exists in multiple things. So, Nityam, for us, Brahman is only Nityam, nothing else is Nityam. So, there the Jati definition gets negated. And Ekam, that is okay. In that, it is the only thing. For us, Brahman is the only thing. So, there can be no Jati with reference to anything in Vedanta. So, we don't accept Jati. But the logicians accept Jati. They accept Jati everywhere except Akasha. Space, they don't accept it as jati. Why? There is a jati badhaka sangraha. There are set of rules which negates the jati. There the Vyakti abhedastulyattam, like that it will go jati badhaka sangraha. Vyakti abhedaha tulyattam anavastitihi etc. Vyakti abhedaha. Vyaktihi abhedaha, abhedaha of the object, non-duality of the object. If something is non-dual, there is only one, there can be no class. Akasha, there are no multiple akashas, space, ether, therefore it cannot be qualified to have a jati. Therefore, you cannot say akashatva according to the logicians. But for us, Vedanti, there is no issue. Because for us, jati is a either something different from the dharma, etc., or it can be based on the upadhi. Okay, pot, space, room, space. Upadhi bhedata bhinna. So therefore, it can qualify. Akasha can have a class also. This is one reason for us. Another reasoning for us is since Akasha is also an effector which merges during the dissolution. Okay. Therefore, what it means is this Akasha created goes, another Akasha created goes. So there are two Akashas, multiple Akashas. So multiple Akashas means multiple class. So multiple Akasha means there is multiplicity breeds class. There is class. There is Ati. That is why he says Ekam Evam Akasha Shabdopi. Tarkikanam, the Akasha, the word. What does Akasha mean? Shabda Kanakam Asha Akashatam. That is why he says Shabda Asharetva Adi Rupam. Shabda Kanakam or Shabda Asharetvam is Akasha. So that which has a which has sound is a Akasha. As its attribute is Akasha. Yam Kanchit Dharma. Some attribute they accept this Sabda, etc. as attribute, and they accept the Akasha, existence of Akasha. So, but in our Vedanta, Prithvivyadi Akashak Viktinam, like Prithvi, etc., Earth, etc., this ether also, the individual ether also, Janyanam is a creator. Anekatva, therefore, it is multiple. Akashatvam bhi jati reva. Therefore, Akashatva jati is accepted for us. So, Akashatva can have jati class. Akasha tikta cha ding nastyeva kalascha na ishvarat atirichyate. And other than space, there is no direction. There is nothing called direction, and there is nothing called time, because time is not different from the Ishvara. The scientists, they always draw the diagram, time space diagram. For us, there is no time space, because time and space are one and the same, viewed from different angle. Let me explain. Atmana akasha sambhutah, from the self ether, space came into existence. Akashat vayu, after that. Wait, what? After that. How can I say after that? When I say after or before, there means there is time. So immediately the moment the space is created, time is also created. So what we accept is the association between the self and non-self is time and space. So he says, na Ishvara datirichyate. It doesn't different from the Ishvara. Atirekeva, even if it is different, Dikka Shabda Ubadhi Vishesha Pravritti Nimittakau iti Jati Shabda. So Dik and Kala, they are different kinds of Upadhi. They are different kinds of embodiment, that's all. In a different embodiment, the same is called as Dik. In a different embodiment, the same thing is called as a Kala, time and space. So there is nothing different here. The Jati Shabda Deva. Therefore, they can also be referred to in with the Jati class. Thus, Pravritti Nimitta, because we accept the Pravritti Nimitta Bheda. So, when there is nothing other than self, how can I say pot, cloth, etc.? We call it Pravritti Nimitta Bheda, the duality for the sake of a transaction. Tasmat Pravritti Nimitta Chaturvidyad Chaturvidha Eva Shabdaha. Therefore, the Pravritti Nimitta, for the application of words, there are only 4 possibilities. Therefore, there are only 4 types of Pravritti Nimitta for the Shabda. Tatra na sat tanna asat iti jati nishedha kriya guna sambandhana api nishedha upalakshanaartha. When I say sat tanna asat, it is neither existence nor non-existence. When I say that, I am negating the class. By negating the class, through implication, I also negate the rest. Rest means the attribute guna, dharma, guna, the action, kriya, sambandha, association. I negate all these through implication. एकमेवाद्वितीयमिति जाति निषेधः तस्याः अनेक व्यक्ति वृत्तेः एकस्मिन् असंभवात्. एकमेवाद्वितीयं, one and non-dual. When we say this, this statement negates the jati, the class, because aneka vyaktehe in multiple things, this one non-dual thing cannot exist. निर्गुणम निष्क्रियम शांतम इति गुणक्रिया संबंधानां क्रमेण निषेध. निर्गुणम निष्क्रियम शांतम निरवत्यम निरंजनम व्योमातीतम एक्सेट्रा. That says, so निर्गुणम निष्क्रियम शांतम, निर्गुणम निष्क्रियम शांतम respectively negates guna nirgunam. Guna negates guna, nishkriyam negates the kriya, shantam negates the sambandha, relationship. So asangohyam purusha iti cha. And there is another statement, asangohyam purusha. This purusha is associationless, so you negate all the jati etc. Atha desha neti neti iti cha sarva nishedha. And all the things, attributes etc., everything is negated through athato adesha. Now this is the teaching. Neti neti, there is nothing, there is nothing, meaning there is nothing which can be referred to as gross, there can be nothing which is referred to as subtle. So no, na iti, na, no gross, no subtle, so both are negated here. शास्त्रयोनित्वात् तस्मात् ब्रह्मण केनचित् शब्देन उच्यते इति उक्तम्. Therefore Brahman is inexplicable, it cannot be explained through any words. So Brahman is neither existence nor non-existence, cannot be explained through any words. So whatever definition we gave for the ignorance fits for the Brahman also. Now tarhi katham prakshyami iti, then how did you say I will explain it? This is not possible with reference to that. How do you say? Because something which is which does not have any attribute, which cannot be explained, how can you explain? How can you declare I will explain to you, I will teach you that? So katham va shastra yonitvat in sutram. And how did he write sutra in Brahma Sutra? Shastra yonitvat. How can that aphorism be right if Brahman cannot be explained? So he says yatha kathanchit lakshanaya shabdena pratipadanadi grahanaha. Somehow or other we are going to explain these through the implications. Therefore there is no other issue here. That is how we have to understand. Pratipadana prakarascha ascharyavat pashyati kaschidenam iti ityatra vyakhyata. How do you explain this? Ascharyavat pashyati kaschidenam. In this in the second chapter 29 shloka we have clearly established this. It is clearly explained how it is taught. Vistarastu bhashya spashtavya. If you want to understand in more detail, go and study the bhashya. He is repeating it twice or thrice in the same chapter. Go and study bhashya. Go and study bhashya. Evam nirupadikasya brahmanah sat shabda pratyaya avishayatvad asat shabda ashankaya. See, now when you say it is not existence, then immediately we jump to the conclusion it is non-existence. When you say it's not white, then we will say no, it is black. Then it need not be white. If it is not white, it need not be black. Like when we had black and white TVs, we saw different grades of gray, different shades of gray. Now, like this flag, we have white in the middle. This is white here, and this section, this is a brown or grayish. It's not white, pure white. It is some grayish white. It is not black. It's grayish white because of the light, right? So it need not be, if it is not white, it need not be black. It may be grayish or in between something. Can be something else. So if it is not existence, then it should be non-existence. There is this doubt for some people. Na asatiti anena apastayam api. Though we have negated it is tanna asat here and earlier sadeva soumya kilamagra asidekemeva dvitiyam. In that statement this is only existence before the creation. There was only existence before the creation, one non-dual. And kechida, some people say asadevedamagra asid, asat only existed before the creation. Then how can the existence come from the non-existence? Soumya, Dear one, how can the existence come from non-existence? It is illogical. That should not be accepted. Be negated in that statement also. Iti vistarena tad ashanka nivartyartham. Here, though we have explained it in different places, to explain it in detail, to negate the doubt in detail, sarva prani karana upadhi dwarena chetana kshetrajna rupataya tad astitvam pratipadayan aha. So, by explaining it, Nyayam Yattaditi should be in 6 shlokas is going to explain. So that's what I remember. I didn't explain that. So he says, Tad Ashanka Nivartyatam, to negate this doubt, Sarva Prani Karana Upadhi Dwarena. The embodiments are the individual beings, individual limbs, etc. Karana. Okay? Chetana Kshetrajna Rupataya. Through that embodiment, the Kshetrajna is that the self is that which makes it active. It exists in each one of them. Tat astitvam pratipadayan. Establishing the existence of Kshetrajna and all that, by establishing it, he is explaining. Now wait. See, earlier, this is what he is saying. See, sarvatah pranipadam sat sarvatokshi siromukham sarvatah shrimal loke sarvamavritya tishtati sarvatah panipadam tad sarvato akshi shiromukham sarvatah shrutimal loke sarvamavritya tishtati sarvatah panipadam. It has legs and hands, pani and padam, legs. Sarvato akshi shiro mukham, everywhere akshi, eyes, shiro, face, mukham, mouth. Sarvata shrutimand loke, everywhere ears. Sarvam avrityat, it engulfs everything and exists. Now this is what is said in the earlier chapter. When we saw Vishwarupa Darshana, in that Vishwarupa Darshana also he said, he showed this. There are hands everywhere, legs everywhere, but remember one thing. There are two kinds of upasana possible. One is ahangraha upasana, there is another is pratika upasana. Ahangraha upasana is to see everything in oneself. Pratika upasana is to see oneself in everything. So there he superimposed everything in oneself. Ahangraha upasana. Now he is superimposing himself in everything. So sarvatah pranipadam means as the hand and leg, as the that which is behind the activity of hand and leg, that self exists. Behind the activities of eye, face, etc., the self exists. Behind the activities of the ears, the self exists. That is what is the idea there. Sarvatra sarveshu deheshu panayah padayascha achetanaha swaswa vyapareshu parvartaniyaha. So in all the beings, the inert ones, hand, leg, etc., which are inert, therefore are incapable of involving themselves in their activities individually. Yasya chetanasya kshetrajnasya tat sarvata. And that which is done by the chetana, which consciousness, that is what is called as a tat sarvata panipadam nyayam brahma. That is what is the Brahman which you have to know. That is what is referred to by tat sarvata panipadam. That is that which has legs and hands everywhere. Sarva achetana pravartinam chetana adhisthana purvakatvat, because all the inert are controlled by some conscient sentient being. Tasmin kshetrajne chetane brahmani nyeye sarva achetana varga pravarti hetau nasti nastita ashanka ityartha. So in all these beings, in all these kshetras, the kshetrajna, the Brahman is what is the consentient being, is what is the one which is making them function properly. Sarva achetana varga pravartiyeto. It is the cause for making every inert being function. Therefore, nasti nastita shanka, there is no need for the doubt about its non-existence. एवं सर्वतो अक्षीणि शिरांसि मुखानि च यस्य प्रवर्तनीयानि सन्ति तत् सर्वतो अक्षिणः. Similarly, whichever that makes the multiple faces, multiple mouths, multiple eyes, etc. to function with their respective objects, that is what is referred to as सर्वतो अक्षिमुखम्. एवं सर्वतः श्रुतयः श्रवणेन्द्रियाणि यस्य प्रवर्तनीयत्वेन सन्ति तत् सर्वतो अक्षिमुखम्. And in every place which is that which makes this sense organ of hearing to involve in its respective function, that is tat sarvato shrutimukam. Shrutimata. Loke means sarva prani nikaya, in the body of all the beings. Ekam eva nityam vibhu cha sarvam achetana vargam avritya swasattaya spurthya cha adhyasikena sambandhena vyapya tishtati. This one non-dual absolute is what is that which is sentient, is what is existent in all the beings, all the inert beings. Under how? By giving them the existence under the experiencership, the existence and experiencership. Only because of that self you see, you experience things. That is why adhyasik, and how does it exist there in those inner things? Adhyasikena sambandhena, through superimposed relationship. Therefore why do you say that nirvikaram eva sthitim labhate? Because it is only a superimposed relationship, and there is no real relationship, real association. Therefore there is no change in its natural state. न तु स्व अध्यस्तस्य जड़ प्रपंचस्य दोषेण गुणेन वा अनुमात्रेणापि संबध्यते. भगवान भाष्यकार uses the same phrase in Brahma Sutra. The Brahman is not affected even an iota by the good attributes or bad attributes of the creation, the inert creation. यथा च सर्वेषु देहेषु एकमेव चेतनं नित्यं विभुः च न प्रतिदेहं भिन्नं तथा प्रपंचितं प्राप्त. We have already established this one self is what exists, remains existent in all the different beings, and it is not different in different beings. Like the logic section, Paramatma ekameva, Jivatma tu pratideham bhinna. That is what the logic section. Paramatma, absolute self, Ishvara is one, but Jivatma, the individual self, is multiple, one in each body. That is not what we accept. We say the self is what is seen as the individual self, so it is not multiple, it is only one which exists in all the beings. We have already established, we have established in multiple places, even in the place where we said it is like the thread tying the beads, etc. Okay, tying the beads or the flowers in the garland, etc. We'll see. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति.